All right, everybody. Hello and welcome to the League of Legends Amateur Summoners Tournament. This is day. We've got two great games in store for you tonight. First up, we are going to be having it is Ignition Gaming versus VWS Gaming. So both teams are getting themselves ready into the game lobby, and we are going to be jumping into the action rather quickly, actually. It looks like people are getting ready to start already. It's a lot of the word ready in one bit. But either way, I'm Tasty Bacon here, joined tonight by Lupus Donahue.
What up?
So we are once again just waiting for a couple more readies to go ahead and get started.
So many readies.
Readies are coming out again. It's going to be Ignition Gaming versus VWS. Both of these teams playing their first game of the tournament, as it is, once again, the first week of the entire event. We've had 5 games so far. We've got 5 more games in this first week. 2 of them today, 3 of them on Saturday. This is actually a matchup, I believe it is for the Division B. I'm not 100% sure. Going to go check that right now, actually, just to be 100% sure, as it is actually Division C. Division C is where this is, where Frank Fang Gaming is the only other team in Division C to have played thus far, and they won their match yesterday. So whoever wins this game will be joining Frank Fang at the top of the table. So just a couple more moments. Readies are coming out in the chat. And shortly, the picks and ban phase will be starting. Very active teams in terms of chatting today. Make sure you tell all of your friends to come on over to hitbox.tv/esportshq and check out today's matches. Once again, we have Ignition versus VWS starting up right now. Later on tonight, we will be featuring, it's going to be Redshift versus DreamHack. But we are now getting on into the picks and bans portion of our first game of the day. Just going to be waiting for that first ban to come out from Ignition. It will be Aurelia getting taken off the board.
I wonder how many of our viewers are thinking better nerf Aurelia.
Well, she did. She just got nerfed, so Aurelia was nerfed. Of course, yeah, that's actually another good point. We are playing on the 5.6 patch, which just dropped today. So have to see how these teams adjusted to the buff barge that came through the league and gave lots of buffs around the board to a lot of champions.
You get a buff. Everybody gets a buff besides Aurelia. God.
Yeah, apparently.
We don't need to buff her again. That champion has been so strong throughout all the seasons.
She hasn't actually been nerfed since, I believe it was 3 years since her last nerf. And
other bans coming out being Hecarim, Janna, Draven, Blitzcrank, and Morgana. All pretty solid bans. Probably most of them are targeted. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I'm a little surprised to see Draven getting banned out here. He's not an AD carry that you see terribly frequently, and especially not one that you see banned a lot. There must be someone over on Ignition that is a big Draven player for that to have warrant a ban for VWS.
There's one thing that I've seen is if you let a Draven fall through the picks and bans just because he's not picked that much, you let someone pick him up. Late game, no matter what happened before in the first 40 minutes of a game, if Draven has items, he's going to be chunking people. I've seen that too many times.
Yeah, it definitely is a very common problem when if a good Draven player gets their hands on that Draven.
First pick coming out being Lulu, and that's probably going to be support, though. I don't know. Is mid lane and top lane Lulu still a threat?
Not sure. I mean,
You
I'd
always
say
have
so.
to hope
I would say she still
slightly.
is. So, but you
You
never
always have
know.
to hope slightly for those off-meta picks that are just like, wait, what? Where's this coming out from? How do you respond to something coming out of left field like that?
I mean, I guess you just kind of have to be partially expecting it and just see how it works. But we do see they are going to be answering with a Nautilus and a Sivir being picked up by VWS.
I wonder if that was actually pick up for Sivir because their AD carry wanted to play it, or if they were worried about the Sivir and Lulu comp, because that's a lot of poke if those two champions are in the same lane. Not to mention a lot of speed boost and a lot of initiation potential, or even just peel coming out from both of those champions.
Yeah, it could be partially. I mean, Sivir's not a bad pick by any stretch. So
Not at all.
even if you are just picking it away from the Lulu Sivir, it's still a solid AD carry. As we do see Jinx getting locked in for Ignition, and now the Rek'Sai going to be picked up as well. Rek'Sai definitely, she never really fell off, but she is just still so strong in that jungle. She's been nerfed a couple times after her initial release, but she's still a very strong jungler, can really control objectives if she's not kept in check.
And Jinx being another solid AD carry coming out for Ignition Gaming on the blue team, correct?
Yes.
Okay. It's just, she's another one of those champions that it doesn't really matter how long or how well you do in the early game, though you do want to start off strong, you do want to get a couple kills in your lane, and you do want to snowball. She just transfers so well into the late game, like a lot of the AD carries that we're seeing played nowadays, and can just bring in a lot of potential into each team fight.
Gonna see what looks like a Scion and possibly an Annie being coming in here. Both teams using a lot of their timers before making their picks, really wanting to make sure that they talk over what they're gonna be. Want them. Very tanky team coming out now with that Nautilus and Scion. Those are two huge frontline tanky champions that are just so difficult to kill in the late game, especially if you let them get ahead.
It's not even just the front line that they're bringing. They're just bringing walls of lockdown potential with that Nautilus just being so kitted so well to being just such a snag on any AD carrier backline member of the Ignition's team. And Annie coming in with the Tibbers, Scion coming in with that ultimate, and that knockup.
Possible Fizz being picked up here. That's another one that, I mean, obviously with the Rek'Sai, you have to assume Rek'Sai is going to be going in the jungle. But with Braum coming through here, this could they have so many flex picks. They could send Lulu top, mid, support. Not so much support because Braum, you can almost say, is guaranteed is going to be support. But you can definitely interchange that the Lulu and the Fizz for top and mid. Fizz can jungle. You can put Rek'Sai in the top lane. Like, they have so many options here
jungle
for Ignition.
We've seen that a couple times.
That's a stretch. I think we're gonna go ahead and forget that one was said.
Erase the 5 minutes of the stream, please, and we're continuing.
But so yeah, definitely a lot of choices there for Ignition. Even with everyone locked in, they still, like, where they're going to be going as far as lanes go is not set in stone. So it really leaves this last pick for VWS to be kind of up in the air as well, because do you want to try and pick against the champion, or do you just pick something that you're really comfortable with that can kind of do well against either of them? Like,
or do you pick a champion that could also go top lane? Victor getting locked in could easily go top or mid with that Victor pick, though Sion would have a harder time trying to be in the middle. It's not unheard of, though.
Well, I mean, you could also, technically, you could put Annie in the mid lane with Nautilus as a support, Sion jungling.
There's so much potential.
Lots of options on both teams here. So we'll have to see in about 30 seconds. They're trading around, getting everyone set up, and we'll have to see where they end up going. But for now, they have really a lot of options. Like we've been saying, it's just, you don't know where they're going to end up. I mean, you can kind of make assumptions based on what you see.
Thing I'm going to mention as soon as we can show those.
Oh, and actually, apologies, guys. Apparently, the client of the streamer has crashed and is going to be hopefully reconnecting. Oh, it is back up. Okay. Okay.
No need to worry. Slight scare. It's all right. We're good. So we are going to show those summoners and Bacon. You want to take blue team?
Yep. On the blue side, we do see it is going to be Lulu with the teleport in the top lane, Rek'Sai jungling with that smite, Fizz in the middle with the ignite, and then Jinx and Braum in the bottom lane. Braum actually opting for the ignite himself as well.
Now we could see a Lulu go mid with teleport, though that is unlikely. It does sort of designate that she will be going top lane. And on the red team, we're going to be seeing Nautilus wearing Smite for the jungle, Sivir taking that heal, and Annie also taking Ignite. So we're not going to see a single exhaust this entire game. Victor picking up Ignite, and then Sion probably going to be going top with that teleport.
Yeah, really surprised to see no exhaust coming out at all in this match, especially with like assassination type character like Fizz. You really would have expected Fizz and Jinx. You really would have expected to see at least one ignite coming out of
And Rek'Sai,
VWS.
like you said, Rek'Sai did get nerfed, but if you let Rek'Sai become a force, she's going to start plowing over your team through your front line and into your back line. She's
Mm-hmm.
going to become a real threat if she's not shut down early, if she's not locked down by the CC. But as much as the red team has CC, blue team has damage to respond. Oh, you lock down the Fizz, you have Rek'Sai and Jinx going in on your back line. Not to mention if Lulu is going to be building any sort of damage in the top lane, and if she gets an advantage, there's so much potential for the blue team to be doing damage. Red team is taking a gamble, not bringing an exhaust, even though they do have a CC heavy team.
Yeah, and so just gonna go quickly over the players of these two teams. We do see on the side of Ignition Gaming, their top laner is El Bakro on the Lulu. We're going to have a Maimer in the jungle on the Rek'Sai, followed by Toot 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 in the mid lane with his Fizz. First time Draven playing that. Maybe that is why they banned Draven away. Although it's his first time, you know.
Guys, come on.
Let him
Have you
play the
ever seen a
champion for
first
his
time
first time.
Draven before? They're terrible.
Yeah, I mean,
How do I catch axes?
but so he's gonna be playing the Jinx, and then their support is I'm in love with the Dodo, playing that Braum.
That's an awkward name.
A little bit, but a little bit.
All right, for the red team, we're going to have Mr. Dr. Stuggles.
Mr. Dr. Snuggles, who is
Okay.
actually a sub for their team.
Okay, all right. We're going to be and loading screen. Un momento.
Took too long. Took too
Rip.
long on. We took too long looking at first time Draven, and I'm in love with the Dodo. But
Okay, come on. Those are some great names, bro. Let's be honest.
So now that we see on the side of VWS, we have Mr. Dr. Snuggles subbing in for their normal top laner. Based Yuna also a sub for that. Actually, this... No, okay. Based Yuna is normally their ADC, who's going to be playing mid.
Again, where you mentioned a lot of flex picks in this game. More so on the blue team,
Okay,
but still.
Snuggles is not a sub. Snuggles just has a different name than what is on the roster. On the roster, he's VWS Snuggles. In the game, he's Mr. Dr. Snuggles. Okay, we're all set. We got this.
Okay. Woo! Sigh of relief.
So, yep, Based Yuna is their AD carry. WC Hero holding down their support role. A Leo as their mid laner, and Contracts is the one who is a sub. I knew they had a sub. I knew that they did have a sub. It is Contracts is their sub, subbing in for their usual top laner.
Subbing in for Sandwich.
Sandwich.
Right. Sandwich?
Sandwich is VWS's usual top laner.
Is it Sandwich with V? Or is it just a German sandwich?
No, it's Sandwich with a V.
Okay, all right. There we go. No lack for translation there.
So we are going to be getting on into the Rift in just a moment. Everyone's at 100%. So once we get on into the action, we'll get to see which of these two teams is going to be claiming their first victory of the League of Legends Amateur Summoners Tournament and being one step closer towards getting into the prizing of that $10,000 prize pool. So we are loading onto the Rift right now. Just going to have to wait for all of the champions to appear. It always likes to take a little while.
The worst part is when you already miss First Blood just because of the delay of loading in.
Yeah, my
Rito,
personal
please.
favorite is like the client shows right now that it's like 19 minutes in, and it even has the Baron timer about to be spawning, but there's no champions or anything. And now it just all of a sudden resets back down to 1 or back down to 0. But it does look like we're going to be getting a pause coming out to start the game. Always
GG pause OP.
one of the worst feelings as a caster when the game gets paused immediately, because you're just like, man, what do I even talk about? But does look like it was just a quick crash for the based Yuna, the AD carry of VWS, and they should be getting things sorted out quickly.
It's paused and I still don't see champions loaded on my screen, at least. This is weird. It's weird.
They just started to, so there's that. We're only 3 seconds in. I mean,
I have to have all these fancy loading animations now. God, right. Why do you make things so complicated?
Rito, please.
Alright, pause gonna be resuming right now, right here, in this game.
Oh, and immediately paused again.
Right.
Oh, why you guys do this to us?
RIP.
So rude.
We didn't even have a second pass before it was repaused.
We really didn't.
Getting off to a great start here, Bacon. I love streaming with you, man.
So you know what? Let's see. Who do you think, just based on purely team comps alone, who do you think is going to win this game? No? No answer?
Well, we're actually into the game.
No answer? Right. You're just going to dodge the question?
Oh, wait, you were asking me? I thought you were asking... like I said, on the blue team, we have so much damage, but on the red team, I'm seeing a couple of my favorite champions, Nautilus being one of them, and they're just walls of CC. I got to give it to the blue team, though, because I've just seen damage outplay CC a lot of the times. It's going to be taking a lot of teamwork from the red team to get any sort of advantage held, and thus the game.
You know, I'm going to actually, just to go against you, I'm going to say it the red team. I think it's going to be a very even match in terms of team comps, but I do feel like the red team's going to have an advantage just because of the sheer amount of CC. I mean, it doesn't matter how much damage you have. If you are stun locked from full to dead, it doesn't matter what you can do for damage if you're not allowed to actually do any of it. So
I bring up the point again. You have Lulu that when she builds damage can do damage. You have Jinx. You have Rek'Sai that when they get ahead can do damage. And you have Fizz. The only one you don't have to worry about is the Braum.
But you have so much AoE stuns and CC coming out of the red side. I really feel like
from
Annie and Victor,
have an AoE slow and a knockup that I'm going from top to bottom. Top to bottom. And so that knockup, if it trails through their entire team, it's a couple person knockup. Otherwise, it's only guaranteed on 1, maybe 2, usually 2 in a good team fight. Sivir, no CC. Annie does have that AoE snare that can come out from Tibbers or her AoE. Victor does have that snare, AoE stun if people hang out in it. And Sion does have that knockup if he doesn't get CC'd or uses his ultimate.
Yeah, see, I don't know. I feel like red team's going to have a bit of an advantage just because of all that CC. They're going to be able to just pick targets and
has a
knock them out.
Fizz has a knockup. Jinx has a snare. Braum has a stun, passive, and a knockup. They have just as much CC if you want to do the numbers. Maybe it's not all AoE CC, but it is just as much in matter of numbers.
We are going to be seeing Sion and Lulu trading back and forth up in that top lane, while in the bottom lane, just some farming going on. Nothing too aggressive. Both junglers did have a pretty standard start, starting on the bottom half of the map. Both of them just finishing up their first buffs as well. Blue buff for the Nautilus, red buff for the Rek'Sai. That's her name.
Thank you for calling her a her.
Yeah,
Like,
I know. I
so
get
much work in calling her the queen of the burrow, and we hear so many casters and players refer to her as a he. What
Yeah,
is
I mean,
this?
even Riot's own casters have referred to her as a he, and it's just like, how? Like, you work for the company. You had to have heard it.
Equality.
I mean, oh man, that's Sion doing a lot of damage to this Lulu. But yeah, I mean, it almost makes you wonder if it was a he at one point, and then they're just like, let's just make it a she, and that's why like the official Riot casters are still getting it confused.
Would Riot casters be privileged to that knowledge ahead of time before a character is released?
I would assume so. I would assume they would know something.
Possibly.
But actually, right now, Victor doing a great job of harassing Fizz. Fizz is going to go aggressive onto Victor, though. Both of them using the Ignite, and Fizz is going to win this trade and pick up the first blood, getting out of there with his own life intact. Great job by the Fizz.
Fizz definitely was able to really analyze that fight and really decide that it was time for him to go in. In a matter of poke, he has none of it. Victor has a lot more than him with that laser, with that Q. And Fizz deciding to go all in on that fight paid all for him. He was able to get that first blood. He didn't die. And Victor was actually scared into Fizz's own territory. He was going towards the blue tower.
And now actually Rek'Sai going to be making a move up into this top lane, trying to get the Sion. He's going to be taken very, very low. The damage is coming out, and Lulu is going to get the kill. That is 2 kills on the board for Ignition Gaming right off the bat.
They did make that a bit of a costly kill up top. Sion did try to run away, but he did burn all 3 flashes. His own followed up by Rek'Sai and Lulu right there to secure the kill for their team and try and get a lead on this in this game early on.
Of course, Sion just using that teleport to get back to lane and immediately going aggressive onto Lulu. Very likely going to force her to have to use her own recall and maybe teleport back herself. Depends on how quickly he gets that lane pushing out away from his turret.
Lulu's actually hanging around maybe a little bit too long for our liking. For the last 30 seconds in lane, she didn't really do much. Rek'Sai taking out an early pink ward.
Yeah, so they know exactly where Rek'Sai is for the moment, but she's just going to be using those tunnels, getting herself to safety. And now Lulu did recall and is teleporting back to her tower. So both top laners with that teleport down.
Sivir doing a really good job conserving all of her mana in this game, using the shield to block a couple Qs coming out from Braum.
And actually, it's leading to a CS lead for her as well. However, we are going to have a fight in the jungle. Nautilus trying to invade, but Fizz answering very quickly. And Nautilus is going to get nothing for that, as he is just forced to retreat back to his own jungle, licking his wounds.
Fizz almost was able to jump over the wall, but it was a little too fat for him to jump over on the troll pole, and just wasn't able to secure that close in. That might have been for the best, especially since Victor was coming in from the middle lane, trying to ensure the safety of his big daddy.
Sion, actually, despite having been killed first in that top lane thanks to the jungle gank, he is still being super aggressive up against the Lulu. Even though she has that range advantage, Rek'Sai going to make her presence felt again in this mid lane. The ultimate from Fizz going down onto the Victor, and it is going to be a second kill for this Fizz, and that is not good news at all for VWS Gaming, as they are now going to be behind in that mid lane by 2 kills. And Fizz is still keeping up in CS, which he's actually going to give himself a small lead because of Victor having to go back to base.
Rek'Sai making sure all her ganks account for something. Obviously wanted to pay back that Fizz for the save that he did earlier on when Nautilus was in their jungle. And Victor almost getting away from that, but his stun was just a little bit off. And Fizz was able to keep auto-attacking him right on the edge of it and not get stunned. After ult knocked him up and Rek'Sai followed up with her own Umbra.
And that's going to be Toot and a Maimer turning that advantage in the mid lane into the first dragon of the game here, 7 minutes in.
This is such an advantage blue team has been racking up for themselves. They know that they need to start getting that damage early before the meat shields that are Nautilus and Scion really have any defensive items. And Scion only now just having Spirit Cow and Catalyst. Or not Catalyst, Crystalline Flask.
Yep.
I'm sorry. But still, he only has Sustain. He doesn't have much damage, though it is impressive that he's still able to keep up and farm with Lulu and trade with her very effectively to the point where he's coming out better and having more health.
Yeah, I mean, the big difference is going to be in this mid lane where you see Fizz actually going to be building that AD Fizz, very likely as he has the Phage in his inventory. Meanwhile, the Victor only being able to pick up the Fiendish Codex, so a bit more money in the pocket of the Fizz is going to equate to a slightly better item lead. But the fact is, Fizz still needs to get in melee to do a lot of his damage to the Victor, and Victor, he needs to focus a lot more on trying to poke the Fizz with the damage that he's doing to the minions and see if he can get that lane damage in. And really, Nautilus also has to start ganking a bit more.
Nautilus is the biggest problem with him is that he is a slow to build jungler. We've seen Sejuani be so powerful lately, and she can have a rush in and a knock up really early on. She's a very strong jungler, though she did take a nerf this most recent patch. Nautilus doesn't really have that luxury. He needs to get a couple of items, though he is looking to do something here at the bottom lane.
Yeah, he's getting himself set up for a lane gank, but he doesn't see the Rek'Sai. Meanwhile, up top, Sion's going to miss his ultimate, but does get the knock-up on the Lulu. However, he's not going to be able to get himself a kill. He gets her actually very low, but with Victor rotating up, Victor going to get himself in the game. However, in bottom lane, everything is happening. Everyone's ganking at the same time. They are going to immediately take out the Jinx, and now getting the double kill onto Annie, as Braum is going to fall as well. Rek'Sai coming in just a little bit too late, not able to have any real effect on that counter gank. But a great job by VWS Gaming, getting themselves a couple kills to get themselves right back in the game, and they're going to turn their attention onto the tower.
They're going to get real estate. That's what they're going to do. They're going to be taking this bottom tower early and trying to end that laden phase just so that they can capitalize on that huge team fight and CC that you've said that they had. They do have a lot of AoE. Sivir is probably one of the biggest AoE AD carries in the game, just with that auto attack, with that boomerang that does so much damage once she has a little bit of AD.
Yeah, and it is a little unfortunate for them that it was Annie that got those 2 kills. However, you know, if you're going to have a support picking up kills, Annie is one of the ones that you don't mind the most, I guess, is the best way to put it. In that, you know, she's still going to, even though she's a support, if you get gold onto her, she's going to put out a ton of damage for that gold. And right now we're seeing them actually rotating very nicely up to this mid lane. That is a great rotation from VWS, taking down that bottom tower and immediately just making their way up through the jungle, getting some vision, and then while Ignition was worrying about clearing out that vision, they just moved right on up into mid lane and took a second tower of the game.
And it looks like Sion's going to be pressuring for a third up there. Fizz is going to be rotating to stop the push, but if Sion commits enough, he could easily take that tower.
Yeah, the vision wars are in full effect right now. Lots of pinks already being put down and cleared out by both sides. So both of them knowing the importance of vision to the overall game. And it's really great to see teams fighting over the vision of the map this hard.
These teams have certainly been fighting over everything that there is to fight over in this game.
Fizz going to be trying to take down the Sion on his own, though. And he just doesn't have enough damage to take out the undead warrior. He's going to continue trying, though, getting that Chum the Waters out. Sion is going to use his own ultimate to cancel out the knock-up. Really nice use of that ability. And now Fizz is the one in trouble as Nautilus got himself involved. And that's going to be a kill for Nautilus. And just like that, VWS Gaming, it was looking a little rough for them early on, but now they have about a 3,000 gold lead with 4 kills and 2 towers to their name.
Those towers lending a lot to that gold lead. That global gold, it's about 500 a tower, is it not? All told?
Mm-hmm.
And
it's
that's
about that, yeah.
That just shows in their gold lead, in their plays right now. Sion being very confident in his ability to fight. Even when Rek'Sai was there, he didn't really take it too much to heart. Nautilus following up with the great counter gank and able to secure a kill for himself. And in the past couple of minutes, we've seen it go from 3-0 to Red Team scoring 4 kills unresponded.
And Dragon is going to be up in about 40 seconds. However, I don't know if VWS has the timer on that. The only way they could have gotten it is by seeing an enemy pick up the Dragon buff, and then you just calculate it out from there. But look at that. Nice play by Fizz, dodging out the knock-up from Sion, and doing a little bit of damage in return. However, again, it's the same story as last time. Fizz just doesn't quite have enough damage to deal with Sion on his own.
One thing that can be said, like you mentioned earlier, that these teams have been fighting over vision control. They've been fighting since the beginning over everything. The only thing that went easily were those towers because Red Team, I'm sorry, I keep forgetting the name. Red Team has VWS has been doing such good in rotation and grouping, and when Ignition Gaming took that first Dragon, because there was no wards, there was no vision, and they did have a very strong lead at that point.
Yeah, however, you see this top tower so close to going down. Sion does have his teleport, as Dragon is live. So, looks like both teams going to be really moving towards that area. And looks like it's actually going to be VWS starting it off. And they are going to be just kind of poking at it for now, waiting for someone from Ignition to try and stop them. But no one's showing up, so they're just going to take this down.
That zap, they pulling it out of the pit just marginally. Jinx didn't realize that the zap just clearly missed Dragon when it was clearly there. Maybe already thinking that it was too late to go in on it, and Braum and her just backed off, recalled, and just had nothing to say about it. And that was an easy Dragon for
VWS.
I'm sorry, I thought there was going to be a fight up there, but...
Oh, Sion using his... There was a fight. Sion using his ultimate to get away from the Fizz. It's the second time we've seen him do that, although he still has quite a bit of health. So a little surprising to see him pop that and running away. However, Sion is going to be finding Lulu in the mid lane. Victor getting in with the Tibbers from Annie as well. However, Lulu is not going to be able to survive, as Victor flashing in, picking up the kill, and now having to run for his life. Rek'Sai wants this kill, and he's going to hit it. What a great play, using the tunnel off to the side to get the angle onto the Victor and pick up the kill. Excellent job by a Bamer.
To see when you're watching such high-level players, plays like that, just outposition just slightly, and not being able to account for it fast enough. Oh my god.
Yeah, that was a phenomenal play from Rek'Sai, and now they're going to not really be able to turn that into anything, because it was still a 1-for-1 trade on kills, but definitely helping to make sure that VWS does not get too far ahead.
All right, and look at that vision control in that bottom red side jungle, blue red side jungle.
Blue red side?
They're all purple sides. I was going
to say blue red would be purple.
Stop, because there's. Anyway, that bottom quadrant of the map has so many wards. There's 2 ping wards and 2 vision wards from the red team.
VWS.
Yes, VWS.
On the Volkswagen team.
So sorry.
The Volkswagen team. Maybe that's what VWS stands for, because I don't actually know what VWS stands for. We'll have to talk to a member from VWS and find out what it means.
Post-game interview with Bacon and Lupus. Oh, that sounds terrible.
Yeah, kind of does.
Our names do not go well together.
But we are going to be seeing in mid lane a fight possibly breaking out, and he's going to drop Tibbers right onto the Fizz. He's taking a lot of damage and not really doing a whole lot back himself, and that is going to be Braum going down to the Victor. And we saw the Sion just missing his ultimate, but he is going to continue the fight onto Lulu. He has a good amount of damage despite building all tankiness. Yeah, he has a really good amount of health.
He's just gonna keep hitting Lulu and not take any pain from it. Lulu having to use her ultimate.
Sion, trying to get the slow, trying to get the outplays as his team is coming around. Victor will hit with that laser, but it's not going to be enough. However, we saw in that mid lane the revamped Fizz, when you build him AD and get that Trinity Force, which he has now. his ultimate doesn't actually do all that much damage. It's really only his damage when he has the ultimate down on somebody. And so he hit the ultimate onto Victor, but wasn't able to follow it up, and Victor just took nothing. Meanwhile, Fizz going to use that Playful Trickster, just barely avoiding getting grabbed by that Nautilus anchor.
He does only have tier 1. Tier 1 ultimates aren't known for being the best. It's usually around 11 when you do get that second level in your ultimate. Yeah, you start doing so much damage, especially on characters that rely on that ultimate to be a lot of their momentum, like Wukong. It's 1 through 10, he doesn't have much to say. As soon as he hits that 11, that's such a power spike for him.
VWS looks like they're looking for a fight, but in the meantime, it's really just Nautilus and Annie distracting the team as they take a tower, but they are going to be going in onto this Nautilus, getting the stun up with that Braum passive. However, a beautiful knockup from Nautilus is going to come through. He does fall, but the fight is going on. Fizz picking up the kill onto Annie, and this is just a terrible fight for VWS. They are falling left and right. Sion manages to get a kill, but it's only on the Braum. Lulu running for her life. Sion did, I believe, code down. He's going to be trying to... No, he did not, actually.
No,
sorry.
he did not.
He is still... He is... I saw him at full health. I was like, how is he full health unless he went down? But Sivir also still alive. She's doing a lot of damage. But here comes the Fizz getting back in. But the spell shield from Sivir is going to block the dash. What a great play. Sivir keeping herself alive, getting another kill for the team. And when all is said and done, which it's still not actually said and done just yet, Lulu going to get slowed by the Sion, but Rek'Sai with the cheeky little knock up through the base gate. And that is going to save Lulu's life. But
I wonder I know what happened to him, because I wonder if he could even see that Rek'Sai knock him up.
Yeah, because you can see through the base gate, so yeah.
You can't see through the base gate. You can see halfway through it. He may have saw what happened, just because Boro has such a small radius.
Yeah, well, but that was
that's just funny. Like, how did I get knocked up? All right. Anyway, so that fight, Nautilus getting caught out, was such a big deal for VWS Gaming. I got it. They were doing so well in Ignition, able to follow up on that, and were able to bring him down. Fizz going a little bit.
There's going to be a fight coming in. Teleport coming in from the Sion onto the entirety of Ignition Gaming. Fizz already dropped very low. He is going to fall to the Tibbers. Rek'Sai, meanwhile, on the backside, gets ticked down by the Ignite of Victor. And that is 2 more kills for VWS. And they're going to try and just move in down this mid lane and try and pick up a couple more kills. The gravity field going out, but not going to catch anybody in it. However, that laser doing so much damage, and they have a couple minions here. Going to try and get some damage onto this inhibitor tower. I don't know if they have enough to actually take it, but they're just going to go straight into the base. There's the Lulu getting picked up. Braum saving Jinx's life right there. But now, with another minion wave coming in, it does look like VWS is going to get that inhibitor tower, turn their attention onto the inhibitor, and that is going to be the first inhibitor of the game being picked up at 20.5 minutes for VWS.
That fight basically played out the same as the one before, only VWS took such an immense lead. They went 3-0 that fight, able to pick up so many kills for themselves. 4-0? 3-0. And it just showed, yes, you caught out the Nautilus, but Nautilus has so much tanky qualities to himself. He can take so much punishment without even flinching. They're trying to go for Dragon here. And...
they're going to be backing off. They aren't full health. They don't really have any of their abilities up, and they know that Ignition is coming in, but this could still be a fight. They are hanging around. Maybe a possible steal from Nautilus if he tries to get in. The ultimate from Fizz does not land, but Victor walks right into it. However, now the Dragon does just go down to Ignition Gaming with really no fight from VWS. All they were doing is stalling for time for the Sion, pushing that top lane, and super minions pouring into the Ignition base. Sion should be able to pick up that tower in the top lane, and super minions not quite going to be able to get the towers in the at the Nexus. Sion does need to be careful. Rek'Sai,
that tower, unless he's going to be taking a little bit of punishment for it.
Yeah, he may end up sacrificing himself for it, but he's going to just be taking a ton of damage with that tower on him. He's going to fall. The tower has about... Nope, there he goes. Gonna use that passive to pick up the tower. So
and now
Sion, more than willing to sacrifice himself to get that inner tower in favor of VWS. 6 towers to 0. That's a the kills are relatively close. The gold is about 8,000, but the towers, not a single tower taken for Ignition Gaming.
The only
That's
thing Ignition has going for them in way of numbers, if you want to look at them, is a dragon. They have a singular dragon. They're 5 kills down. They're 7,500 gold behind. They're 6 towers behind. They have no real estate. They have good vision control, but they don't have points to fall back on. As soon as they cross that river, they're in enemy territory, and it doesn't. They do have a couple wards there, and VWS doesn't have many wards in their own jungle, but they don't need it. They are playing so aggressively, they're playing so in sync that they're able to just take a tower by merely focusing it. They're able to just claim real estate as their own, and that was the best from
an
you.
interesting winter spike coming out. But there you see them just deciding, hey, we want this bottom tower. We're gonna go take it. They have been so much more aggressive in their plays and their movements across the map, and it's really been the difference in this game.
Not even just aggressive, but cohesive.
Oh, it actually looks like they're going to be going in again underneath the tower even. The Annie dropping Tibbers getting a nice stun. They can immediately take out the Jinx. And now Sivir just unchecked on the background doing a lot of damage. Lulu is going to be in trouble from this Victor, but she is just not going to make it to the base.
Yes!
And now Fizz trying to do what he can, and it's not going to be enough as he is going to fall as well to the Annie. Annie sitting at 5-1 and 4. That's a carry Annie if I ever saw one coming out of the support role. And VWS picking up their second inhibitor now. And really
VWS probably going to be going for game right here. They played so cohesively every time Nautilus.
It's going to be tough though. There are respawns coming up, but they're going to have the Scion just blocking the path, standing there, making sure no one gets through, and just forcing Jinx to have to deal with it. And there is going to actually be a surrender coming out from Ignition Gaming. So VWS picking up the first win here on day 3 of the League of Legends Amateur Summoners Tournament.
Oh my god, when you think about top play games, we can't even really fault Ignition Gaming. They did play really well. They did get that early lead, but they weren't able to just carry out against the Nautilus and the Scion frontline as much damage as was unloaded on them. They just waited and stalled for Sivir to come up the back line, Victor to come in, lay down his gravity field, his laser, his Q. They were doing so much damage.
It really did just look like that they just were not ready for, I mean, VWS just hit a point and just pulled a trigger and started going super aggressive, and it really just looked like Ignition Gaming was not ready for that to start. And as soon as it did, VWS just got ahead and never looked back. All right, so make sure you guys, we do have one more game for you tonight. It is going to be Redshift versus DreamHack. We're going to take a quick commercial break, but make sure you stick around. We will be getting into that game in approximately 10 to 15 minutes, maybe sooner. We'll have to see, but make sure you stick around. All right, welcome back, guys. We are getting ready for our final game of the day. It is going to be Redshift up against DreamHack in our final match of day 3 here at the League of Legends Amateur Summoners Tournament. Just want to remind everyone these teams are playing to move on to the semifinals and finals, which are going to be held live at the League of Legends East Coast Convention, or LEC Squared. So they're playing the regular season now. They have 9 games each. Every team plays 9 games over a stretch of 9 weeks, with the top team from each of the 4 divisions moving on to the semifinals, which are going to be held live at LEC Squared. So check out esportshq.com/LEC Squared for more information on the convention, and get yourself your ticket today. There are early bird specials, so you can get your ticket for a little bit cheaper. And make sure you do so. You can head on out to LEC Squared, meet some of your favorite League of Legends content creators and streamers,
And casters.
and
Woo!
your absolute favorite casters, of course, being us and Cyber Owl and our other alternates, which you will be meeting throughout the season. But this game is going to be starting up relatively shortly, we hope. Hopefully there won't be pauses at the start and all that kind of fun stuff. But
oh, right, your favorite cameraman.
Our cameraman wants you to know that he will also be there, but nobody cares about production team.
Are we technically
that's the way
production?
it is. We are front of house production, though. We are not behind the scenes production.
Oh, right, front of house. It's something I'm learning to love much more than back of house. Oh my god!
But
don't work as a dishwasher.
DreamHack and Redshift, both of these two teams playing in the Division A. Divisions were randomly created, so a team being in Division A does not necessarily mean they are any better or worse than a team in Division B, C, or D. They were randomly generated, but we do already have 2 teams in Division A having played. So we are going to see 4 of the 5 teams in Division A having a game under their belt after this upcoming match.
Whew. That last game, I'm still recovering from it. That was just so much action.
Yeah, it was definitely a very aggressive game in terms of lots of fighting. Hopefully we'll see that again. Those are always my personal favorite games to watch, is when teams are just super aggressive and just constantly going at it. We are going to be, again, just waiting for everyone to get themselves sorted. And if he ready in just a moment. All right, just waiting. Oh, our cameraman finally got himself on in. Having some difficulties over there. Hopefully, we won't have any issues. Actually, once we start. There we go. We are going to have loading on to the picks and ban phase. Of course, we are going to be seeing.
To see what we're going to be seeing this game. Scion coming banned out. First ban from the blue team.
We do have, it is going to be Redshift on the blue side, and then DreamHack holding down the fort on the red team. Sejuani being banned away. A little surprised, because I don't really expect Sejuani to be too popular of a pick right away because of those nerfs that she just took in the 5.6 patch.
Which is active. I want to remind everyone that we are playing on the fresh patch. All the buffs, all the nerfs are active right now. Vi and Kalista getting banned out, and then LeBlanc following up being the last ban from the blue team.
And Kalista being taken away. I love seeing. I totally agree with the Kalista ban. I mean, if you have any inkling that someone on your opposing team is going to be playing Kalista, get that out of the way immediately, because she's just so strong and can completely control a game by herself from the AD carry position. Or it is going to be Morgana getting locked in as the first pick for Red Shift.
And if we're agreeing with fans, I agree with DreamHack spans the entire way. Sejuani, even though she's nerfed, may still be a force right now. We have yet to actually see how the nerf is going to affect her that much. Kalista is such a strong champion since she's been released. And Nidalee, even though she's gotten a couple nerfs in the last couple of patches, she's still so strong.
Yeah, definitely is. They are going to be picking up that Sivir once again. Another Sivir pick. Again,
another
very strong AD carry. Rek'Sai coming through for DreamHack as well. Right now, hovering over that Narvin combo. Could be coming out. It's really has taken a huge hit in recent patches, especially with Jarvan losing that armor from his Demacian standard. But that could be what they're going to be looking for here, just wanting to lock down the enemy team. Of course, when you have that Gnar, it is so important to time your team fights around that Mega Gnar timer. And if they can do that successfully and you have that Jarvan, it can just work to such great effect.
And we see on DreamHack's side, it looks like they're going to be hovering over a Zed pickup. And Nico deciding better to hover over a random. So just pick anyone. You don't want to telegraph too much. Have you ever experienced someone telegraphing that they're going to play a top laner and then take a top laner and go jungle just so that you can see, just so that they can bait a counter pick?
Not really.
That's one of the older things I've seen.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it could happen.
But at this tier, when you know all the people in the games and you know them all practically on a first name basis, you know who they play and where they play them. Seeing another Lulu pickup.
Yeah, Lulu being a very popular champion, and she has been for a while. Just a lot of it is also because of the fact that she has that flex capabilities of being able to fill in multiple spots. And then also Hecarim coming through, another one. You can be either top or jungle, but with Rek'Sai, you kind of have to assume that Hecarim's going to be taking up residence in a lane, because while Rek'Sai, you can put her in lane, she's just so much more effective coming out of the jungle, in my opinion. The Urgot hover. It's not going to work, guys. We've already seen an Urgot in this tournament. So an Urgot was played, I believe it was on day 1.
Yorick, another champion that gets no love, though.
It is going to be Caitlyn getting locked in, and it will be Ahri to round out the team comp. So very likely going to be sending that Ahri in the mid lane with Morgana being their support. Have to see what DreamHack decides to take as their final champion. Could be a mid laner, could be a support. Only DRM noob knows.
Well, hopefully DRM Spectrum knows too. I mean, and the choke. What?
Wow.
What?
Cho'Gath.
That's every pick going in, and a couple of people getting swapped around, getting the champions that they wanted.
Okay. I'm really surprised to see Cho'Gath picked up into this composition, because they don't have your traditional like burst caster assassin type character. It's with Cho'Gath, even if you build him straight AP, he's still more of a tanky bruiser mage than an assassin or quick heavy damage mage like Ahri is. So it'll be really surprising to see how this plays out. I'm also really confused to see. I mean, it's very likely going to be Cho'Gath in the mid lane or Hecarim in the mid lane, but either one of those would be. I have to question the pick going into an Ahri.
Plot twist: Lulu mid, and one of them is support. I'm calling it. I'm calling it. If I
Well,
call crazy things for the rest of my life, I have to be accurate at least a couple of times. And as we
well,
get into the delay here, we can actually reveal the summoner spells, and you guys can take your guess.
yeah, it is going to be the Gnar and Hecarim going against each other in the top lane. It will be Rek'Sai in the jungle for Dreamhack, while Jarvan takes that role over on the Redshift. Mid laners, I'm going to have to say it's going to be Ahri versus Cho'Gath, with Lulu and Sivir as the bottom lane for Dreamhack,
DreamHack.
and the Morgana and Caitlyn for Redshift. Of course, going down the
I'm still
roles.
calling a Lulu mid and Cho'Gath support.
Well, I mean, according to DreamHack's roster, Noob is their support, and so that is very likely going to be the Lulu support. So they do have Havoc as their top laner with the Hecarim, not taking a flash or ghost, opting for the teleport ignite. Smooshy Cake, their jungler, is actually a sub for them, subbing in for Infinity Deaths. Spectrum is going to be their mid laner on that Cho'Gath, Ignite and Flash. And then Neko being their AD carry, Sivir with heal and Flash. And finally, as I mentioned, Noob being their support, running the Flash and Ignite. So no exhaust for DreamHack. However, over on the blue team on Redshift, we do have their top laner, Crazy Fish, playing the Gnar with the teleport and Flash. Their jungler is David Lin on the Jarvan with Flash and Smite. The mid laner, I Am Broadband on Ahri with another Ignite and Flash. And then the AD carry being Josh Kun on Caitlyn. And only Jungle Lux is their support. So another a lying username or summoner name. So he's only Jungle Lux. He's not only is he not jungling, he's not playing Lux. I feel
People
lied
these
to and
days, you
betrayed.
just can't trust them as far as you can throw them, or at least by their summoner name. Judge them. I don't know. My name is Lupus. What do you want from me?
So looking at the team comps, the key to this game is going to be if DreamHack can avoid fighting, going for all-in team fights while that Mega Gnar is up, and if Redshift can manage to get fights while Mega Gnar is up, they're gonna just do so well with that Narvan combo, being able to build terrain in the middle of the map for Gnar to ult people into. You're gonna have Ahri dancing around Caitlyn with that massive range. They have such a strong, full-on AoE team fight, but only if they can time it correctly.
We've seen team fights play out very differently than we expected, or even the players expect them to do so far tonight. Every time last game where we saw one person get caught out, the team fight ended up getting won because that person took all of the cooldowns to get killed.
I'll have to see if that becomes the case here as we are loading on in. See a couple of skins for Redshift, but being outclassed with the 4 skins being picked up here from why now I'm the one forgetting the team names.
DreamHack,
DreamHack.
you're welcome.
That's there we go.
I got
But,
you. I got you, bro. Put me in, coach. Oh wait, I'm already in. Okay.
So getting on
Bad
into the
jokes
rift.
have been made. I am so sorry.
Oh boy. Getting on into the rift, we do have to wait for everyone to appear because that's just how it is.
Do.
Oh, okay. The gates have appeared. Here come the champions. There we go.
I'm still on the loading screen.
Really?
Rito, please.
I'm fully loaded in. You may need to check your stuff. But
And before Buck Splat.
yeah, 15 seconds. The game has started, so
This is
you
why
are
I'm
not-
not play-by-play.
if you are not in, you need to check your settings and restart your client. We
The
do see
stream
both
beat
teams,
me in.
both teams leaving the base as they are actually going to be sticking together here on the side of Redshift, while DreamHack is going to be splitting up a bit. So if a level 1 fight does happen, I'm going to have to give the advantage over to Redshift.
I'm actually going to restart my client.
They're just going to be waiting in this tri-bush for now. Nothing really happening, just waiting for...
30 seconds until minions spawn.
Yeah, just going to be waiting for the... Looks like Redshift is going to be making their move here. Gonna get spotted out and just back off pretty quickly, except for Ari wanting to get that ward down. And then having a little bit of an emote war with Cho'Gath. Both teams gonna just be backing off now and heading towards their lane. Looks like it should be a standard start for both sides. Yep, no lane swapping or anything funny. Although Hecarim looks to be starting off at the Wraiths or Raptors of his team, so going to be a little unconventional in that sense. And actually, Gnar moving over just to put a ward down, make sure they can spot any invades of their blue buff. But yeah, Hecarim going to be starting off with those Raptors, clearing those out. Wants to hit that immediate level 2, and then get back into lane with that slight experience advantage, but he is going to be missing out on some of the minions in lane. Let's see just how much is he just getting back to base now. We are going to be seeing right now, there's Jarvan finishing off his first buff, Rek'Sai just finishing hers, Hecarim teleporting back up to that top lane, having that level 2. But he did miss out on, Gnar has 7 CS already, and is level 2. So I'm not sure if that that start from Hecarim was really worth it. It didn't really give him any extra gold or experience or anything. It really just kind of gave Gnar some free lane experience, and it just equated to them pretty much being even.
All right, I'm in.
Yay! Cool. Always good. Always good to know that both casters
missed the first 3 minutes. That's okay. Nothing ever happens in those times. Not like there's a LeBlanc in this game.
Sometimes stuff happens in the first 3 minutes, but nothing terribly exciting happened in the first 3 minutes of this game. A lot of farming going back and forth. A little bit of Ward Wars.
Oh,
not too much.
My favorite. So hard to say when you're eating. Okay.
But we do see now it's going to be just poking and farming going on here.
What was I hearing about this Hecarim starting at Raptors? Did anyone give Rek'Sai a leash since he started at Krugs? No?
Rek'Sai had no leash, but just didn't really need it. Is right on par with the Jarvan. So it's pretty much just, again, a very even start right now. Cho'Gath actually having a slight lead in mid is actually going to be going aggressive onto Ari, who's already out of mana. So who knows, maybe this Cho'Gath was actually a solid pick into Ari. He's doing a lot of damage to her. Going to put the Ignite down, getting those attacks with the Vorpal Spikes. Will the Ignite be enough? It will be, damaging Ari through that potion. Getting first blood over to Cho'Gath, and I guess I owe Spectrum an apology for questioning his decision to play Cho'Gath into Ari.
Yes, you do. I totally had faith with the Lulu mid. What? Alright, so Ari did misstep there a little bit. Being that she had no mana, she still tried to harass Cho'Gath, who just baited her out a little bit farther, landed that knockup, and just secured a kill for himself really easily.
Yeah, and the fact that it was a one-on-one kill, no jungle help either, is just going to be definitely going to be something to keep an eye on. Right now, we do see them going in onto the Hecarim, or onto the Gnar, sorry, as Rek'Sai is coming up after Gnar went in on Hecarim. But it ended up being just a trade back and forth. Gnar winning out in terms of the damage because he was in that Mega Gnar form. But Rek'Sai is actually going to be sticking around here. And they may look to make something else happen, but Gnar's going to be playing very safe. I think he has an idea that Rek'Sai maybe didn't go back right away. Over Cho'Gath continuing to just be extremely aggressive.
Landing one, walking up, landing the other. Not a problem at all for this guy. Obviously very confident in his Cho'Gath. Really well aware of how those knockups do work with that delay. Really able to land those and just calculate.
Yeah, and the other thing interesting to point out is Cho'Gath went back and started with his boots. He immediately finished off these Sork shoes to get the penetration against the Ahri.
Maybe
So
not even so much the penetration, but just the mobility. We know Ahri is one of the most mobile mage assassins in the game. And Cho'Gath maybe just wanting to be able to capitalize on his knockups if they're max range, just with those little bit of mobility stats that the boots give.
yeah, very aware of his situation is Spectrum right now, and he's doing a great job with it. He's winning in terms of CS. He's got the kill. He's doing great for himself. It's going to be a lane that his jungler isn't going to have to worry about too much if he continues to keep this up.
Red team already has 2 pinks down in the map. Rek'Sai not having many tunnels, but obviously able to just farm up in the jungle. She's only a little bit behind Jarvan, even though she did camp a lane a little bit long, did not get anything from being top lane.
Yeah, both junglers having that first level of their first upgrade of the Hunter's Machete. Gonna have to see what they decide to get for their enchantments. I'm kind of expecting just a Warrior's enchantment from both of them, but we'll have to see. I mean, I guess you could get maybe the Cinder Hulk on either of them, but really the Warrior's enchantment just seems to be the way to go with both Rek'Sai and Jarvan.
Cinder Hulk has been such a strong item nowadays, though. It does scale to be stronger in fights, and looks like Hecarim's going to be called out here.
Everyone kind of roaming towards this mid lane. That's a lot of bodies, and they're going to be going in onto Ahri. She is going to get taken down. Now Jarvan's in some trouble. He should be able to get away from this, though, and he does indeed. But the roam up from Lulu, the roam down from both top laners and both junglers trying to get involved in this mid lane as well. So it looks like that's where both teams are going to be trying to put a lot of focus on. This Jarvan needs to be careful. He's hanging around with low health. All 3 members of the DreamHack are still around, and they're going to be going in. There's Cho'Gath going to be starting off with the feast to drop him so low. Meanwhile, up top, Gnar is getting dropped very low. Hecarim wants this kill. He needs to be careful, though. I don't think he's going to be able to get underneath the tower to get it. Gnar trying to bait him in underneath the tower, but he's not going to fall for it, and they both do back off with pretty low health values. However, now it is going to be DreamHack moving over towards that dragon, starting it up after they know they got the kill onto Jarvan. They don't have to worry about the smite coming in, and this should be their dragon to pick up here about 9 minutes in.
Going back to that second kill that they picked up on Ahri with all of that roam, she must have been CC'd so well chained that she wasn't able to flash out of it. We haven't seen her use her flash or her ultimate yet. Even though she's been ganked a couple of times so far in this game, she has yet to be able to either get away or capitalize on a low health champion with her mobility.
Yeah, it's really surprising that you mentioned she didn't even have a chance to get the flash off, or if she did, just opted not to. Maybe she just figured she was going to be falling either way.
Her fate.
Yeah, if you know you're going to be dying and you don't feel that you can get away, sometimes it's better to just let the death happen and save the summoner spell for next time.
Speaking of kills and deaths, Cho'Gath obviously very confident in so far how this lane and game is going for him. He picked up a Magi's.
Yeah, gonna be interesting to see if he can get that stacked up. Of course, that's putting a lot of risk on a Cho'Gath build. And actually, Hecarim gonna be doing a lot of damage to this Gnar before he goes Mega. But then as soon as Gnar turns Mega, he has to back out of there immediately. That's just such a huge timer to work around, because
that
Gnar
was
just
such a
gets
good
so strong.
trade by Hecarim. But because of going Mega Gnar gives you that bonus health, he actually came out the lesser for it. Gnar actually has more health than him.
Yeah, that's...
So he's trying to go in and get in.
Yes, every time Gnar goes back to regular Gnar, Hecarim just trying to be aggressive on him. But going back to that Cho'Gath, Cho'Gath in and of itself is a risky champion in the fact of if you get killed, you lose so many of your stacks from those ultimate. And now adding the Magi's onto that, it's going to be so risky. But they are going to be finding the Jarvan up here, trying to clear out a ward, and he is going to pay for it with his life. Meanwhile, down bottom, Caitlyn going to try and have to flash away from the Sivir. She did pop that ultimate to get the move speed, but it is going to not be enough because that is actually, oh my goodness, Cho'Gath. So big, 3-0-1, for this Cho'Gath. And of course, getting that feast kill onto Ari is going to give him another stack of that ultimate passive. And
couple of stacks. You're forgetting the Magi's.
yeah, well, I wasn't talking about the Magi's. It was just the ultimate stacks.
I meant stacks in general. Don't come at me.
The kill got the Magi stack. The kill with the feast got that ultimate stack. So he's just going to continue to get bigger and bigger and harder to deal with. And I have to say, I am extremely impressed with Spectrum right now.
If he gets those 20 stacks and is able to get 15% cooldown off of one item, not to mention all the AP that Magi's have, and honestly, all you need to do is keep Magi's around 5 stacks, and it is worth the gold that you put into it. But right now, he's already floating at 7 stacks or so. He's already being such a force in this game.
I believe it's actually around 8 or 9 stacks.
8 or 9?
Yeah, I believe that's when it is. It becomes gold efficient. Yep. But he's going to be looking for more stacks here. Look at that. That's Ari's pretty much full combo with the exception of her ultimate, and it did almost nothing to him.
Cho'Gath his one skill did just as much.
Yeah, he is just so big right now, and really, they're going to have to put so much attention, and she's going to get knocked up again, and he's going to have that feast up. He's going to try and get it. He gets the nice little treat of Ari, and that's... what are you going to do about that? It's so big. Gnar trying to use his that Gnar ability to pull Hecarim into the tower. Did not connect. Now Hecarim's going to try and get himself a kill. Dives under the tower. Times it beautifully. As soon as Gnar went back to regular Gnar form, just immediately crushing him underneath the tower. And right now, DreamHack is just in a huge lead, and they're just adding to it right now as Rek'Sai gets in on the bottom lane. That is going to be 2 more kills picked up for them, 9-0 at almost 13 minutes. They are just in absolute dominant control.
Honestly, I think about that fight up at top, that if Gnar had landed that Gnar and it didn't stun Hecarim, that would have been a kill for him. Because all Hecarim needed to do was get 1 Q off. Mm-hmm. And now it looks like Red Team just is taking a 9-0 lead. They have 7,000 gold, 3 towers, 1 dragon. All those numbers together are just showing that DreamHack is just dominating this game. There's not even much we can fault in Redshift. They've been playing well, but DreamHack has been rotating. They've been grouping. They've been playing to their strengths. They know Cho'Gath got a kill early on. They know that he had the supremacy. They gave him more supremacy with those roams from top and Lulu, with that ganks from Rek'Sai, who is 1-0-4. She is being such a force, even this early into the game.
They're going to actually try and get this Cho'Gath shut down a little bit right now. Jarvan jumping in on him, but Cho'Gath's just going to flash on out. Teleport coming in from Hecarim, and he's going to dash in, getting so much damage onto this Gnar before he goes Mega, but the Mega's about to come out. Jarvan in a lot of trouble, though, trying to flag and drag himself away. He is going to just barely survive, but only temporarily, as Sivir is just waiting for him. And now the Kaylin actually picks up the kill onto Rek'Sai. Cho'Gath, meanwhile, the one who initially got engaged on, is still standing at over half health. He is just so big in the middle of these fights. What are you going to do about him? There's nothing. You can't focus him because Hecarim, Sivir, and Rek'Sai are going to be doing a lot of damage if you're trying to focus Cho'Gath. But if you don't focus Cho'Gath, he's just going to be tearing through your team because he's building pure AP.
That's the thing. As Cho'Gath adds these beefy brawlers that can do so much damage if they get ahead, Cho'Gath, Volibear, Malachi, they get ahead. You have to kill them or else they're killing your backline. If you kill them, their backline kills you. There's very, very low chance to come back at this point. Cho'Gath now has 12 stacks on his Magi's. He has a Needless. He has his Magic Pen boots. He's going to be going back, and he's floating around 1,000 gold on himself. Whenever he goes back, that's another piece of either his Rabadon, his Zonias, whatever he so chooses to build at this point. He's doing really well for himself and his team.
Yeah, not to mention, you look at he has 6 stacks of Feast, which gives him the most health in the game, with the exception of, I think Gnar, when he goes Mega, might have slightly more, but for everyone's standard health, he has more than everyone, including Jarvan, who has that Giant's belt on him. So it's
even if Gnar
he's actually going to get attacks here, but oh my goodness, look at that damage from Cho'Gath. And when he gets hugified, he's just going to stand there and actually going to get shut down. I'm not sure if that was maybe a connection issue. It looks like it was, as we do have a pause coming out immediately afterwards. And yeah, Cho'Gath having some issues there, unfortunately. So he is going to be losing quite a bit because of that. Going to be down to 3 Feast stacks and I believe only 6 Magi stacks now. So very, very unfortunate for him. Hopefully it will be an issue that gets sorted out quickly and won't affect too much more of the game.
I keep hearing Morgana's ult go off, and it's just creepy.
It really is kind of a disturbing noise to listen to over and over.
That should be one of my teachers or boss's ringtones. Just that noise. Repeat. Ghost Bride Morgana skin noise.
Yeah, they are going to continue this fight though as the game gets unpaused, and that is a double kill for the Jarvan. Right now the Sivir is caught out as well, and 3 kills going over to Jarvan. Shades of Tyler 656 or 656 from Monday night, but gonna be picking up a couple kills. You weren't here for that game. It was a well, we won't go into it. Just make sure you go check the replays of the second game from Monday night. Anyone watching, it was a phenomenal game. But we are going to be seeing now Jarvan and Ahri getting away from the Rex side.
That was behind like quadra kill or something.
It was a Jarvan that 1v4'd and won.
Yeah.
But now we're going to see Hecarim going in hard onto the Gnar, and of course Gnar being stuck without that Mega Gnar transformation, and that's going to be an easy kill picked up by Hecarim, and now he goes and steals the blue buff away as well, just rubbing salt in the wound.
Disrespect, stealing it on the ward. I heard horror stories about that Jarvan play, actually.
It was phenomenal. I highly recommend everyone go watch it. But we do see.
I would really be crushed if we see DreamHack lose this game. They've been doing so well, but as much as I'd be crushed, I'd be more excited that Redshift was able to come back from an 0-9 like deficit. They are down 2 dragons now, 3 towers, and
they were actually down even further. They were down, I believe it was 0-12 at one point. I don't believe.
No, it was like 1 and no.
Oh yeah, no, they did get a couple kills.
It was like 1 and 10. It was 1 and 10.
Yeah,
it wasn't that much further.
But
they did close the gold gap.
Cho'Gath going to be having to try and get those stacks on the Magi's back up. He is sitting on again just 6. He's gotten the Feast back up to 5, so 1 more ultimate and he'll have all of his extra bonus health back.
And he did get that Rabadon's.
That he did.
Hecarim, the only person in this game that hasn't died yet.
And you could make an argument that Cho'Gath maybe shouldn't have died there, but unfortunately, dealing with issues like that is part of the game, and they do happen.
Until we're in a local area network viewing these streams, broadcasting them, and we're all in the same room just hanging out, that is a problem that we have to face. But it's one thing that's awesome, that we can play these games across continents, across countries, across everywhere in the world, and still be united under this, honestly.
And we are going to be seeing Lulu going to get picked off a bit here, taking a lot of damage from the Caitlyn. The ace in the hole is going to come out, not quite get the kill, but the Cataclysm from Jarvan will. However, the turnaround from DreamHack is coming through now. They picked up 2 kills. Hecarim flying over the wall, and to get in on the rest of the team, Cho'Gath getting a shutdown with that Rupture, and that is exactly what he needs to try and get those stacks back up. And now Hecarim going to be running away from the Gnar. He's about to go Mega and does not want any part of that. They are going to be able to get away from him. For now, they're going to have to leave that pink ward. But maybe waiting for a chance to try and go in on him again, as he is going to be turning back into regular Gnar in just a moment. But no, they are backed off, going down towards bottom 1 to pick up this tower.
Yeah, with Rek'Sai, Sivir, and Hecarim, that's going to be easy. Hecarim not needing a flash. Who needs flash when you got onslaught of shadows on a cooldown, just rampaging over the wall, being able to do so much work for his team. We saw so many expensive ults blown to secure that Lulu kill. That's a lot to commit for a support. We saw Ace in the Hole not be enough. We saw Morgana using those chains not being enough. or actually being stopped by the Jarvan Cataclysm, just ending Lulu. Yeah, that's the best way to put it. Just stomping out her life.
Yeah, we do see Hecarim is still unkilled so far. 4-0-2 for him. But see if that can continue for the rest of the game. I know that DreamHack will definitely be hoping so, but Redshift going to be trying to make that change.
He does have that 500 bounty on his head for whoever's looking to pick up that kill on him, or at least the last hit. Aisling being able to steal that away at any point if she so chooses.
Looks like they are going to be trying to make an aggressive play onto this Gnar as he tries to defend this tower. They're just going to take out this tower immediately. Really nothing Gnar can do to defend that. He is forced to back away.
Absolutely wrecking it from the Hecarim, just using that 2-second cooldown.
Now we're going to have a fight. Jarvan going to be taken somewhat low, but instead it's actually Redshift getting the better of this fight thus far. Jarvan is going to drop to the Sivir, but that's 2 kills picked up right now for Redshift. But here comes the Rek'Sai and Cho'Gath, and this could spell disaster. The Rupture's not going to hit anybody, but it doesn't really matter. They've already gotten 3 kills returned in their favor, and it ends up being a 3-for-2 when all is said and done. However, they are going to continue to try and chase this Morgana. The binding not going to connect with anybody, but they don't want to quite go diving underneath that tower. And it looked like it was going to be a really good fight for Redshift, but unfortunately DreamHack getting the Rek'Sai and Cho'Gath coming in off the back end, able to do enough damage to pick up a couple of kills for themselves. And now Cho'Gath's just going to be pushing in this inhibitor tower, getting a little bit of damage onto it.
Now back up to the 11 stacks, and that was a death on Hecarim. The shutdown gold going over to Gnar on Redshift, being able to get that gold, being able to make up a little bit of a comeback, but they still have almost a 12,000 gold deficit, 11 kills, 2 dragons, and 5 towers. This is another game where we're seeing Red Team go perfect on towers thus far.
Yeah, see if they can keep it up as they are now moving in aggressively into the blue side jungle. They are all there except for Hecarim, but he does have that teleport available. Looks like a fight is going to be starting. Here comes the teleport, and they are going to be starting this off. Cho'Gath not connecting with the Rupture, but again, does it really matter as he's just getting onto the back line? So much damage being put out now. Caitlyn getting caught in a bad position. Lulu is so low along with Rek'Sai, and Cho'Gath very, very close to falling. Gnar trying to get that kill, but it's not going to happen. Ari just managed to get out with her life as well.
No, she won't.
Everyone. Nope. Hecarim's going to find it and make me eat my words. But Jarvan and Morgana both barely getting out with their life.
This guy should have Jome and Cho'Gath so we can at least hear the pleasurable voice and royalty that is Jome and Cho'Gath.
But Cho'Gath back up to now sitting on 13 stacks for him. And again, just another extremely strong performance from...
They didn't lose a single person. They were able to keep that so well together, CC so well, and just scatter Redshift to such a degree that Rek'Sai being low health was able to live. Cho'Gath being low health was able to turn around and feast on the Gnar, getting more stacks and surviving lethal damage, which would have been if Gnar would have been sticking on him. And even Hecarim, just everyone holding so well together.
Yeah, the fights have been very hectic, which is again unfortunate for Redshift because they want the clustered, grouped up team fights, but they just have not been able to get them thus far. Yeah, it just hasn't been able to happen, and really that's a big portion of why they're behind right now. And DreamHack just taking full advantage and going to be diving in. Oh my goodness. Ari just getting completely deleted off the map, and now they're going to continue this chase onto Morgana, and that is another kill for Rek'Sai. Meanwhile, Hecarim in the middle of Caitlyn, Jarvan, and Gnar just going to be soaking up damage, especially with that giant growth coming out from Lulu, and now they're just going to push in onto this inhibitor tower. Very easily take that down. Redshift having to back away, and the first inhibitor is going to fall here 24.5 minutes in. Middle inhibitor is down, and looks like they just want to rotate on over. They have tankiness on their team, and they're just going to quickly try and take down this top inhibitor, but Jarvan getting in to try and stop it, doing a lot of damage, but now that the tower is down, they are going to be falling like flies. That is 3 kills picked up for DreamHack. They did lose the Hecarim in the process, but only 1 for 3 and an inhibitor tower. Now they're going to be getting the inhibitor. Ari getting caught again. That's going to be Cho'Gath picking up another kill. He is just...
That's 20 stacks?
Is it 20 stacks? It is 20 stacks for Cho'Gath. And that is going to be a very likely game as they are just pushing it onto the inhibitor tower. Cho'Gath toying with the Morgana off on the side, but that is the second inhibitor tower going down, and DreamHack is going to be picking up this first game. The Nexus is vulnerable. The respawns are coming out from Redshift, but it's not going to be in time. The giant golden Cho'Gath, and that is going to be the game ending. Congratulations.
Cho'Gath tried to be a trophy.
He tried, but was a little bit too early. But it is going to be DreamHack picking up the victory here in our final game of day 3 of the League of Legends Amateur Summoners Tournament. Congratulations.
They ended that game with over 3 times their enemies' kills.
Yeah, that was another really strong performance, and going to be giving, I believe it was, let's see, who is in that A division? Legendary Threats, a run for their money in that A division. And honestly, all these games, it could have been a much closer game if, again, just unfortunately for Redshift, not able to time their team fights around that Mega Gnar transformation, not able to get the Narvan combo working to a full effectiveness. But it is going to be DreamHack taking the victory, and that is going to just about do it for us here tonight. Day 3 of the first week wrapping up here at L.A.S.T. And we hope you guys tune in. Join us next time on Saturday. This Saturday will be the final day of week 1. We will have 3 matches coming to you on Saturday. It will be Forgiven Sin versus Team Cave Gaming. DreamHack playing a second match, this time going up against Tech Gaming. And Forever Foolish will be taking on Inertia Gaming in our final game of the day. So make sure you check out esportshq.com. Check out the stream on Saturday right here at hitbox.tv/esportshq. And we hope we will see you all then. One last time, I'm Tasty Bacon.
I'm Lupus.
And that's going to do it. Have a good night, everyone.